What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Struggle to Strength podcast, your source for real-life application on how to turn your struggles into strengths in all things mind, muscle, and money. I am your host, Josh Levine. I am joined here by my longtime friend and my co-host, Travis Hatch. And today, we recap a bit of the recent ICX event, the last ICX event that I attended this past weekend. Actually, this will be the end of June that I was attending this event. So whenever this comes out, that'll be it. But today in this episode, we give you 4 key ways to stop trying and start doing. This was one of the main takeaways from the event. Jason Phillips delivered an incredible speech on it, so thank you to you, Jason. Before we get into it, we ask that if you love this episode, please give us 5 stars on Apple or a follow on Spotify. Share us on your socials. You can find me at Josh Levine Fitness, Travis at Travis Hawks Media. Don't forget, you can also follow the podcast on Instagram. We got a ton of great clips on there, so check it out. Share them to your stories. We really appreciate it. You can find us at Struggle to Strength Pod. That's it, y'all. Get ready to take action. We will see you inside. Dude, I'm back from like a long time of traveling. I feel like I haven't been home in a long time. I'm tired.
Yeah.
But
I woke you up this morning.
Dude. Yeah, I go to sleep last night and I like knew Travis and I were going to record early this morning, but I forgot when he was coming over. And I was so tired I didn't want to look at my phone to check, to look at a text and that says I'll be there at 9. And so I just went to bed and Travis calls me this morning and I woke up to the phone call and that's the story, I guess. It was a really cool story.
Woke his ass up.
Yeah. But
so now we got coffee and we're going to wing it.
We got coffee and we're going to wing it, but I don't think it's going to be very hard to wing it, dude, because I had a fucking incredible weekend at the last ICX event there will ever be, which is the group that I work with Jason Phillips and the Nutrition Coaching Institute. We were there in Nashville this time, and we had over 200 coaches in that room, and a lot of really intelligent people, Jason Phillips being one of them, and obviously leading the pack and producing some incredible speeches. And that guy's just got away with words. He's like so fucking calculated.
And go listen to his episode on here.
Yeah.
It's just absolute fire.
Yes, go listen to his episode because it is, like Travis said, is fucking fire. And also Rico was there.
Yeah,
our boy Rico. Go listen to
gangster.
Rico's episode. Another absolute gangster, a fucking shark. Dude, the room was just full of people like that. So, I mean, put it this way: what's the saying that you surround yourself with 5 successful people, you'll be the 6th. Mm-hmm. Surround yourself with 200 successful people. Like imagine the fucking energy.
Yeah,
it was insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, had a great workout when we got there on Friday with a bunch of the people there. I was with a bunch of my old teammates from Team Haley, and basically got to hang out with everybody and have a good time on Friday. And then Saturday, we hit the ground running. And so I wanted to talk about some of the key takeaways from this weekend. And Travis and I were just speaking about one of the main takeaways that we actually started the weekend with, and the first speech that Jason gave. He got up on stage and he wrote really big on the whiteboard, "Stop trying." And I was like, okay, cool. I give up.
All right.
All right, cool. I'll go home, dude. Take whatever.
It's like, what's that movie, I Love You, Man, where he's at the beach with Paul Rudd and he's like trying to learn how to surf. And he's like, pop up. No, do less. No, do less. Well, you got to do a little more than that. Yeah. It's like that. Yeah, it is. Stop trying, but don't just do nothing.
Yeah. Stop trying, but don't just do nothing. The point of the speech and the story is to stop trying and just start doing. Because so many of you, everyone, myself included, I guess, regardless of the conversation that we just had, so many of y'all are just trying to do shit. Like I honestly, personally, and we talked about this, I don't use that word a lot.
Yeah, me neither.
And I think it's because, even when Jason was on our podcast, he mentioned like, we're doing ass motherfuckers. We ain't trying ass motherfuckers.
Yeah.
We just do shit. And so I think it's important. This is like a very important takeaway. Stop trying. Stop trying to start your business. Stop trying to get in shape. Stop trying to whatever it is that you're doing. Stop trying to save for a house. Like, just fucking do it. Make a plan.
Yeah.
Do it. And I liked what you were talking about where like, if you're going to do it, like go all in.
You have to go 100% all in.
Yeah. You can't half-ass anything.
No.
Like
doing anything, trying things is easy.
Yes.
Doing anything is so hard, dude.
Yeah.
It takes so much energy. Like, and
effort.
so, and the point I was saying is like, sometimes it, like we were trying to start this podcast and it took me a few months to get the equipment, and I've been thinking about this a lot because we talked about it, and that's, that happens to a lot of people where you kind of delay things, and that's really not what I like. I was getting into a point where I was able to put 100% effort into it. Like it takes so much energy to figure out all the equipment, figure out how to use it, try it out, like trial and error, then book guests, come up with ideas for shows, show up. Like the amount of energy that it takes the two of us to do this, you have to go there's no way to do this at all if you're not like putting 100% energy into it. And so for me personally, sometimes it takes me like a couple months to get in that zone. But one thing that I'll never do is talk about something that I might do or might try next year.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm going to do this and it's going to take me a couple months to like ramp up to it. But I'm not going to be like, oh, I might try to do that next year. Like, bro, straight up, stop having those conversations. Like that's nothing. You're talking about nothing.
If you're ever like talking to me about something and I say, yeah, I might try to do that next year, or I might look into that. That means no.
That means no.
That means I won't.
Yeah.
Like if I use any of those words, it means I won't.
Whether you know it or not, it means no.
Yeah. Now, if you're having that conversation with me and I say, yeah, no, I'll be able to do that in a few months, then that means I'm going to do that
in a few months.
I do not have the capacity or the framework to do that right now, but I'm going to do that. Yeah. And every step I take from now until then is going to be getting me closer to the goal of being able to do that.
Yeah.
And along that path, along that time, like during that time where I'm taking steps to be able to do that thing, never am I going to say I'm trying to do that thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
Or I'm doing it. It's just the action of the first thing. You're not at that step yet. So like, that's actually a good point. Like this is something that I hadn't thought of before, but if you go through my notes app, look how many notes there are about podcast before we started.
Yep.
That's what I was doing. You know what I mean? I wasn't thinking or trying. I have like pages of notes comparing different equipment. Like, when I'm in that stage of deciding like the stuff to buy, and I have a bunch of other things going on. So, it took me a minute, but there was no time where I was like, oh, it's been 3 weeks and I haven't done anything. It's like, yeah, it took me a couple of months to like get going, but that entire time I was doing research and I had notes, and like, in some ways that could be a delay, but just for me, for my process, I know with 100% certainty that that's how I get things built up to then jump into this thing head first. I'm still don't know what I'm doing. I'm still just jumping in head first, but I have the energy and the intensity to have good confidence that I'm going to execute it. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's something that I've figured out about myself through years of just doing shit and not like thinking about it or talking about things. Like I know my process. And so if you don't know your process, like, yeah, you might have to just jump into some shit. But like, I know that I have a process where I build up the, energy and I get ready to go 100% all in. And that's how I do it. Yeah. There's no way to do anything by half-assing it. Like, how could you?
Okay. So then let's talk about this. Cause you and I are a little bit different. Everybody's going to be a little bit different in this. And I like people are different from us. There are a lot of people in the world who are like, well, I need this and this and this. Everything needs to be in perfect order. And like, they can't just jump in. So I'll use myself as an example because I don't think a lot before I do things. And that's probably a bad way to put that. But I'm totally okay.
I don't think a lot at all.
You mean you guys like think about stuff? So I'm totally okay with diving into something head first and learning how to do it along the way. Mm-hmm. Like I will fucking figure it out. Like I know I will. Most of the time. Mm-hmm. All right. When I was a kid, I wanted a go-kart so bad. And this is a totally side tangent story, but it kind of relates. When I was a kid, I wanted a go-kart so bad. And if my parents are listening to this, they're going to crack up and probably hate me at the same time. But I wanted a go-kart so bad. And I had done I've watched YouTube videos and seen people turn lawnmowers into go-karts. And I was like, cool, we got a lawnmower. And I was like, I want a go-kart. And I just took apart the lawnmower. And then I was like, I'm going to use this and I'm going to build a go-kart. And I had
parents are like, have you guys seen that lawnmower?
Dude, for real. I had no idea what I was doing. And granted, I was probably 9 years old or whatever, but I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, I'm just going to jump in and build a go-kart and figure it out. So I took apart the lawnmower and mostly I couldn't figure out how to get all the way apart. I certainly couldn't figure out how to get it back together. So,
I'm not a mechanic.
I'm not a fucking mechanic. I just thought I could build a go-kart. And so I was super opposite end of the spectrum of didn't think at all, just fucking went for it. And I think there's still a little bit of that in me. And that's why I'm able to execute on things very quickly as an entrepreneur. But I did learn during my go-kart fiasco that I need a little bit of I need to prepare a little bit more. I need to at least know a little bit of what I'm doing. But I still have that in me of fuck it, yeah, I'll just do it. There's a lot of people that don't have that at all, super opposite end of the spectrum from what I am, where they need everything and all the information, super type A. What can we tell people to help them figure out how they can go about doing these things?
I think it's good to have a little bit of both. I don't know, there's probably people with different opinions. Me personally, what I think is if you just, I'll give an example of a friend of mine from my childhood, Nick Coville. I don't know if you know him. I don't think I know. He's quite a unique character. And he's someone who probably has never, he jumps into things. He thinks through them, right? Mm-hmm. And one time he doesn't think through them. He jumps into them. One time when we were 12 or 13, we're down by the river and, we walk up to the river. We're going to go swimming. He sees the river. So he takes his shirt off and he jumps into the river, and about a quarter inch under the water is a rock, and he smashes his head off the rock and knocks himself unconscious. And we pulled him out of the river. Right. So that's an example of zero thinking and just jumping straight into things
head first
and it not working out. You know what I mean? Whereas if he had walked up, looked into the water and then jumped, would have been fine. Still jumping in head first, but he could have looked first a little bit. Then there are people who walk up to the river and they look at it and they think about how nice it might be in that water for about 3 hours. And then they leave and they never went into the river. Mm-hmm. And I think somewhere in between those two opportunities on a spectrum is probably a bunch of awesome ways of doing things. And for me, I definitely have noticed that I have kind of a seasons way of living. So I have a season of ideas, planning, preparation, and then I have a season of execution, and then I have a season of rest. And those seasons might be days at a time. Mm-hmm. But they're generally weeks or months where and sometimes they're all happening all at the same time, but I really this idea, we want to do a fitness group travel, mm-hmm. Vlog type experience. I didn't just book plane tickets, right? I was like, hey, do you want to do that? You're like, fuck yeah, that's a good idea. So this is kind of a stewing situation. I know with 100% certainty that this is going to happen. Yep. But we didn't just book plane tickets randomly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We need to walk in the water.
Yeah. We're in the planning preparation stage. The idea is stewing. You've talked to some people. They're into it. Mm-hmm. I would say, cause I've done this so many times now that I feel like I can almost see into the future. I would say that within the next like few weeks to a month, we'll probably have a plan in place. And then once that plan is in place, then it will be boom, jump in head first. We're going to book tickets. We're going to go fucking do it. We're going to crush it. We have no idea what we're doing, but I know that we're going to execute. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think everybody's kind of like for me personally, the way it works is like, I come up with some ideas. I do a little bit of planning preparation, and then I jump in with full intensity and energy I execute, and then I rest a little bit. And that's how I personally do it. Yeah. And to answer your question, you're saying like, what can people do? I think one thing that you can do if you have a problem, maybe you can tell people what they can do if they have a problem with just jumping in and smashing their head off of a rock. But for me, I think if you have a problem with, if you've been talking about shit for years and you haven't done it, put something on your calendar.
Yeah. Or you don't want to do it.
You either don't want to do it, so stop talking about it.
Yeah.
Or I think for me, it's like, have a list, right? Have a list of your priorities and to-do lists and figure out what goes to the top. If getting in shape is something you've been talking about forever, like write out, you probably also don't have like a list of things that you're working on. Or
deadlines that you want them done by.
Set a deadline, make a list. I think that's something, it's kind of simple, but that's what a lot of people don't do.
Well, it is very simple. And it goes along with the idea that as humans, we will do whatever we say we're going to do in the amount of time we allow ourselves to do it. Right. So if you say, oh, I'm going to do I'm going to do this, or I want to do this, then like, yeah, you'll probably do it eventually, maybe. But if you're like, no, I'm going to do this by the end of the year. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, well, you're going to do it by the end of the year. And if you say, I'm going to do this in 2 months, then you're going to do it in 2 months. Who was it? Was it Elon who said, make a 2-year plan for your business or whatever you're trying to do and get it done in 6 months? Someone said that.
Yeah.
The point is you're probably not going to get it all done in 6 months, but the amount of progress you're going to make in that 6 months is going to be fucking insane.
Yeah. There's man, I can't remember his name, but he wrote a book. I'm pretty sure it's a book. It's called The 12-Week Year, which is write a year plan for your business and then figure out and then execute that in 12 weeks.
Yeah.
So like 3 months. So it's the same type of thing.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you're going to fuck up a lot of things, but you're going to be so much farther.
Yeah. And what's the worst that happens when you fuck up?
Exactly.
I think that's probably what holds people back a lot is they don't want to fuck up. Like we didn't want to fuck up this podcast, and you didn't want to like get the wrong equipment or not know how to use it or not know how to upload it or upload it to a place where we don't own it.
Yeah.
That was a lot of things that we didn't want to fuck up. But eventually, once we had like the basis of what we wanted to do figured out, then we jump all in and we do it. And it's been great so far. It's been fun.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. The point is to stop trying to do things and just start fucking doing them. And to take the wise words of Rico, be a fucking shark.
That's right.
Don't swim backwards, always moving forwards. We had a lot of other really great takeaways from the weekend that were really just mostly based in fitness. I mean, we talked about sales with Nick Ross. We talked about nurturing leads with Mike Milner. We talked about content creation with Rico, and made a lot of really, really great connections. I mean, the power in surrounding yourself with people like that is just, it is unmatched. There's nothing fucking like it. Have you been to like a videographer conference or a photo video conference yet? Dude, you should do it.
I know. That's what I was thinking about while you're talking, is I was like, man, I need to get involved in some more stuff like this.
Yeah. I think it would be really valuable for you.
There's got to be tons of.
Ask Rico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll head up Rico.
Yeah. I'm sure he'd be, in fact, he's got some ideas. I was talking to him about some things for your business. So we should get in touch on that.
Yeah. Okay. So three takeaways, 3 things that you can do to have more like success in your life or whatever you're doing. 1 is, stop thinking and start doing, executing. That's what we just talked about. Yep. 2, I think, is community.
Yep.
That is like huge. Mm-hmm. If you like, you know, Josh has this awesome community, but he didn't like slip and fall into it.
No, I bought my way in. I buy my way into my communities.
Yeah. But you also like execute your way in. You're also just like an awesome person. You're bringing a ton of value. Probably like, not to be, you know, there's no need to say this, but you know, you're not like at the bottom of the barrel. I'm sure there's probably there's more successful people than you there, but you're also bringing like your own personal like energy, probably more so than a lot of other people there. Like you're bringing a lot to it and you're getting a lot from it.
And I don't want to be the most successful person in that room. That's another important part of that equation.
Yeah.
Is like community, but I'm trying to be like one of the dumber people in the room.
Totally.
You know, like no, I don't want to be a fucking idiot, but but I don't want to be the smartest person.
What
in
are
the
you
room.
guys doing here? You want to go to the movie?
Do you want to go to the movie? Just making friends in my comments. But yeah, so the community is very important, but like, don't join a community so that you can be at the top. I think this happens with a lot of fitness coaches rosters. Is people want to be like the star player on the roster, but then what?
Yeah.
I mean, don't like, if that you know, floats your boat and fills your ego, then that's fine. But if you truly want to get better at something, like, don't be the best person in that team.
The way I think about everything is like, and this kind of relates back to like the doing as well, but like, I took like our editor, James, when he started working with us, like we're both doing this stuff for the first time. And what I wrote down in, like when we were building out like how we're going to do things, what I wrote down is like, if you do it perfectly the first time, you're doing it wrong. Like I'm not interested in seeing something perfect at all. I don't want that. What I want is you to get it done. And then next week I want it to be better. And then next week I want it to be better. And that's kind of like the Facebook mentality of like move fast and break things. And I just think like, you know, that comes right down to like getting it done. Like, yeah, you don't want to just do something that's a complete disaster, but don't literally, you know, it's not like, oh, don't worry about it being perfect. I don't want it to be perfect.
No, not yet.
Don't make it perfect.
Yeah. Also, done is better than perfect.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like get
execute.
it done and then let's look at it and how can it be better next week?
Yep.
And like, that's the same thing. Like, dude, if you're like the best person in your community, how are you supposed to go up?
Yep.
Like, how are you supposed to be better the next week? Who are you learning from?
You need a new community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to like move. You need to like, you know, and that's the way I think with like my video projects is like, I don't want to go backwards. Like every video project, I want to be like I want to have some sort of little piece of it that's like bigger and better than the last time.
Or and more valuable to your customer.
Yeah.
And providing a better experience.
It's like
telling a better story.
Lifting weights. Like maybe you just add 2.5 pounds for this week onto your lift and one extra rep. But it's like, dude, that's progress. That's it.
And maybe you don't, but maybe the lift is better.
Right.
Like maybe you're better at doing it.
Yeah.
Like, progressive overload in all aspects of your life.
Yeah.
Progressive stimulus in all aspects of your life.
Yeah. And everything can be related back to fitness basically, which is the cool thing about it. But it's like, that doesn't mean adding 100 pounds onto your squat over 1 week. In fact, that's probably a terrible idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
there's
no way you're going to execute that correctly. So you add like 2.5 pounds, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, whatever it is, whatever you feel is the right thing to move forward. And you want to have like a little bit. And like when you can see trends work the same way from what I've seen. I'm not a data analyst, but trends seem to work the same way everywhere in the stock market or crypto or whatever. If you see 100% gains, something's going to crash.
Oh, it's always going to crash. Yeah.
So like, the sales managers at companies, why do they put sales caps, like commission caps on their sales employees? It's not just so they have to pay them less money. It's because they don't want to see a massive increase of sales this year. They want to see a steady, 3-4% exponentially. Mm-hmm. They don't want you to sell a ton because then it's going to crash and it's hard to like build anything with that inconsistency. Mm-hmm. And so that's the way, that's the way you should do everything. Basically, it's the way you should build your fitness regimen, and that's the way that you should, plan your life. Like just go out, get it done, build your community, and just figure out how to be like a little bit better every week, and keep doing that over and over again. And then in a couple of years, you're gonna be fucking crushing it.
You will be fucking like you will be blown away at where you'll be in a couple of years if you just do these. And the third thing I think is put it on your calendar, make a deadline.
Yeah.
And by the way, all of these things can happen at the same time. Mm-hmm. If you join a team, if you're trying to get into your fitness, if you're trying to improve your health and fitness, you can set a deadline. You can stop trying and start doing it on that deadline. And you can join a team and instantly have a community on that deadline. Like it all works at the same time if you want it to. And then, like Travis said, your results will be exponential year over year because you've done these 3 things that are the most important for you to stop trying and start fucking doing.
Yeah. And then I guess the bonus 4th one is, which we've talked about a lot, but I mean, it's probably the most important thing in the world is after you've done all that, you have to take ownership of everything that you're doing. Because you can't just, I think that's a really good point for what we're talking about, because a lot of people are like, oh, I'll join a community. And then they want to kind of like pawn the ownership of what they're doing off on the community. Like, well, I'll just ask everybody what to do. And, my mentor will tell me what, like, nobody's here to hold your hand. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing with the muscle building method. Like, you're the coach, but you can't like make me grow muscle. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't like I still have to, I'm my own coach at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can lead you to water.
Right. Exactly. So you have to be the one that takes ownership. And when you do, I can tell you from experience, it's just like way more fun and you feel way more confident about yourself.
As far as your fitness goes?
Just in general. Like
for anything.
When you take ownership, like it's just a good feeling when you actually you're like, oh, I'm in charge.
You realize that you're in charge of your fucking life.
Someone else might be my coach. Someone else might be my boss, but like I'm in charge.
You're in charge. And then by the way, you will have zero victim mentality in your life if you just take fucking ownership. So that's a good 4th bonus. Cool. Well, shit, man. I mean, we're keeping these to 30 minutes. There's a ton that I could talk to you guys about from this weekend. Travis and I are going to talk off air a little bit. So sneak peek coming up.
Hell yeah.
But we appreciate you guys for tuning in. I hope this was helpful. I think 3 and a bonus 4th things that you can do to stop trying and start doing will change you guys' lives. So let us know how this goes when you try it, because I want you guys to actually implement this to something. Like pick something that you've been telling yourself you've been trying to do. Like honestly, take fucking 30 seconds right now and write down some shit that you've been trying to do. Pick one of them and put these 3 and bonus 4th things into movement so that you can just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like do something this week.
Yep. Right. Yeah. Write down 3 things, choose one. What's the one thing that you want to accomplish? What are like 3 steps you can take to accomplishing that? Get the first step on your goddamn calendar within the next couple weeks. And whatever the deadline is on your calendar within the next couple weeks. Find a community, whether it's like a friend or an online group that you can join to help you get the information you need, stay accountable, work with on to move forward on it, and then take ownership on all of that. And like, that's really like the recipe.
That is the fucking recipe. And then tell us that you did that.
Yeah.
Like message the Struggle to Strength podcast on Instagram and tell us that you did that, because we want to hear. I would love to hear stories about that.
Yeah.
Maybe we can like start doing action items for people and like give away prizes and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be cool. All right. Well, cool. Y'all take some fucking ownership and start doing it. All right. We appreciate you all. We appreciate you for tuning in to another episode of the Struggle to Strength podcast. Let us know how it goes when you stop trying and you start doing, and we will see you next week.